5mm edges.
Yeah.
And it'll be 108. Or I can do it at 105.
Yep.
And it'll have 39mm edges. They'd probably go, alright, do it at 105.
Yeah.
They'd prefer that than I think,
yeah.
you know. But
yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. I'd be really interested to see if whether width plays any sort of particular role in terms of, you know, bat stability when hitting a ball. Like if it affects the twist or anything like that. Because, you know, Coley used 105mm width.
really,
Bats, yeah. I mean, I saw one in the Keel factory. Someone was asking for the Coley shape in 210 but bigger and full width. And
right.
they were like, well, I mean, for your information, Coley uses some bats that are like 105mm.
Yeah.
So, alright. What profile are we going for? JS170?
The 170, yeah, the lower.
Is that the favourite?
Yeah, that's the most of them. One of those really.
Yeah.
I think it's more like, it's a bit like the subcontinent sort of SS sort of profile.
Well, it's
really.
not, to be honest with you, it's not far off what Coley would use, for example. Yeah. Huh?
See how quick it went through it then?
Yeah, butter.
That was nothing like that before when it went the wrong way.
Yeah. Cool.
It goes through it pretty quick, so I'll just obviously mark the edge on.
Yep.
Profile on. Put my swell point on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then just for my own, how I do it, is that I'll get the plane off. I'll then straighten this because the spine's not straight. Just by eye, just so I've got a reference point.
Yeah, of course.
For myself in the middle.
Yeah.
I'll just draw my toe on because there's a lot of duck roll on it, so I mark up the bottom points and my toe as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I know I'm not going under that.
Yeah. And is this for a customer or just for a stock shape? Or?
This is just going to be for a stock shape, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
oh, by the way, yeah, just as an intro, this is Jonny Scott, Scott Cricket Bats, and just coming to visit him today.
so yeah, as I say, start taking some off draw knife as well. I'll take a little bit round the handles as well before I fully start shaping it.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's pretty square.
Hard to test the pickup, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's square around here, I always do that, innit?
Yeah.
And then wax in the face.
Wax in the face, yeah.
So I'll generally just take only a little.
Yeah.
Just so you can get an idea of
How it feels.
how it feels, yeah. Feels alright.
Yeah. Just give it a quick sand and it'll be good to go, right? So yeah, Johnny's going to meet the specs of £2.10, 67mm edge, sorry, spine, and 40mm edge. Gauge buster.
I know people do it differently. I tend to generally work from side to side at this stage.
Alright.
For me, this is just unwanted wood.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of
just getting it off as quick as possible.
Yeah. Obviously, at this stage, it's going to be nowhere near a finished shape. So for me, it's just getting this down to where you're bringing in more of the refined sort of hand tools. This stage with it, I'll generally leave a lot more than I need on it.
Yeah.
Just so that I'm not taking too much off.
Yeah, you keep the spine kind of nice and high.
Yeah.
There, just so you can.
Generally do. Yeah, generally just because in the past I've made the mistake of flattening that out too much.
And it just affects the flow, I guess, of that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah, just know the shape I'm trying to get. So I'd rather keep that in there and then go back to it again with this or with the plane. I won't take too much off. Yep. Sort of through the toe with it. Just get it to a good sort of level of where I want it to be. So personally, I don't like to use the draw knife too much.
But it's the fastest way to remove it, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But just it's each their own, really, I suppose.
Yeah.
Some people use it more, but especially around the toe, I'd just rather keep it at a certain point and get where we're sort of, I'm looking at the high point there,
Yep.
and then leaving a lot in it. Still take a little bit more out of that.
Of course.
With the draw knife, obviously, that's still really, really rough, but it's that sort of, that's where the swell's going to be. I'll duckbill that more, but that's pretty flat there.
Alright.
So that'll be my next point of reference is
Of course.
the high swell.
Oh.
And I'll take it from there and then start blending all that in.
Awesome.
And that's obviously a little bit more out of that with the draw knife.
Yeah.
And then heading on to the planes and the travishers.
Yeah, right, okay. Cool.
Starting to get you start to get a feel of it then as well of
How much?
where then you'll be taking the rest of it from,
Yeah.
how it balances. Whether you'll need to take more out of the arm, which concaving.
And what weight did the clef start at?
It was about 3.9, 3.8,
So
I think.
kind of a
3.8,
decent-
just under 3.8.
Oh, so this will turn out to be quite a big bat for the weight.
Yeah, what was on the clef? What was the clef weight? Yeah, it was about 3.8, I think. So it'll be a decent size, yeah.
Yes.
I always try and pick the right sort of weight for the right customer. So if a customer came in wanting, 2.8, 2.9 and big specs, big edges, not much concaving, then you're going to have to pick the lighter ones, obviously. That's the reason. But for the stock ones, I'll have an idea of where I can get that bat and the mix
what popular
between
weights.
Yeah, and the mix between sort of concaved. I don't really tend to try and stay away from the heavily concaving, really. So if this bat's only going to get to, I think I measured those up at like 36mm.
Of course.
Try to keep a high spine on there as well, with as minimal concaving as possible. And if that's going to come in at 212, but it feels right.
Well, you got to keep the guts in the bat, don't you? You want
Yeah.
the bat that performs
Yeah.
and feels right in the hands.
I'll stick it in. Stick it up, get a grip on it, and put it on the bat rack at 212.
Yeah.
There's bats for everyone. That's the thing. I mean, most people are wanting lighter weights, but it's crazy trying to get every cleft of willow to 2.9.
Well, you're forcing it to be something that it isn't.
Exactly, and there's a customer for every bat as well. So
yeah, of course.
what you'll find is someone will come in and if you had a loads of 2.8s and 2.9s on the rack and somebody come in and saying, I use £3,
of course.
you know, you don't want 15 £3 bats sitting on the shelf, but you need 1 or 2 in there, and you know, it's kind of nice sometimes when you do just leave them bigger and get them to feel nice at 2.14, and think actually I could go out and use that even though I use 2.10 to 2.11 sort of mark.
Of course.
You know, I could easily use that myself, so it's kind of nice sometimes to leave bats that sort of weight really.
So I mean, that's normally the case, isn't it? There's a customer for every bat.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think you can get in the mindset of, well, you know, everybody wants, no one's going to use a heavy bat. In reality, it's not the case. You know, people will. It's just not
as common as you think.
Not as common, but still, you know, people still do use them. So I suppose that's again the beauty of going custom made. It's like the long blade, long handle one. Obviously, that's not a stock bat that anybody had made to sit on the shelf. So it's not very often somebody comes to you and says, I want a bat that's 95 centimetres long.
Yes, of course.
But
I mean, is that the legal limit for the size?
I think it's 96.
96 now.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily have made that up and left it on the shelf, but it just shows that people use varying different lengths, varying different weights.
Of course.
Now it's starting to get more of a
shape to it.
Sweep down, yeah. That's very roughed out, but
yes,
that's roughly the sort of shape,
of course,
that I'm going for. Obviously that'll become more duckbill. I'll probably start that spine sweeping down a little bit more, but roughly.
Yeah, it's actually quite balanced already, like even for the weight. But I guess because the handle's quite thick.
Yeah, the handle. I mean, there's a lot to come out of the handle.
There's a lot to come out of the handle, so you'll have to remove a bit more out of here.
I think the thing is, obviously, the shape is the shape. So if I'm making stock back profiles, then I know what shape that's going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable with having a certain shoulder size on the edge and a certain toe size.
Of course. And
then from there, it's the shape's always going to be the shape. So that middle position is always at 175 mil from the toe. 170, 175 mil from the toe. So you've got to rough out that shape, and then from there, affecting for me the balance. This is where this comes into it now, where I'll maybe trim down the handle a little when it's at this stage, just so I can get more of a feel, and then it's taking wood out.
Taking wood out, like concaving a little bit, maybe duckbilling a tiny bit more.
And that's where you get the finessing of, for me, the balance and the pickup of it.
Yeah.
You know, you're roughing the shape out first because that's the shape. It's always going to be the shape.
It's always going to be what you're wanting.
Yeah. And then from there, it's then a case of, right, well, where am I taking that wood from?
And where are you trying to keep it? So you're trying to keep it kind of in the...
Trying to keep as much there, but also thinking about how everything else affects that balance. So for me, I'll always keep a handle slightly thicker by modern standards, probably. I'd say it'd be a good medium thickness. To mine.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, that's one of the things that will affect the dead weight, isn't it? But will enhance the pickup.
Yeah, and also I think it's just, you know, when you start making bats, you're always going to gravitate to what you like, i.e. in shape and handles and you know, why not? If you can, if you're making bats, why not make bats that you like? So for me, it's about what does the customer want?
Yeah.
But as a stock bat, it'll always be sort of a gentle semi-oval, but quite a medium sort of thickness to it.
Right.
Even though I've got tiny hands, it just feels better for me in the hands.
Alright, just have that
again,
little bit
and pick up, and just trying to keep as much up here as well and throughout the blade evenly, even though it's sort of a big swell low middle.
Yes.
Just to try and make sure that it doesn't pick up like
a dog.
Yeah. And just making sure it's nicely balanced throughout the blade, really.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, well, let's see you. Finishing concave.
Well, from here.
Oh, handle shaping, sorry.
Yeah, from here I'll just take a little bit more out with. And I've got the sort of one of the wooden blades.
Yeah.
Now I'm just trying to flatten the roughness out, basically. I know there's going to be some element of concave in this, so this time I'm just trying, for me, the way I do it is getting to a point where I've got that definite spine, and it's nice and straight. I've got the sort of edges set where they're going to be, and then from there it'll be a matter of going in with a travisher or around the plane to give it a little bit of concave to fine tune it, basically.
Really quite starting to take shape, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean there's obviously a lot more to do through there, so a lot of people more shape the shoulders in a little bit more. I tend to not do it as much with the draw knife, do a little bit. A lot of that will be done through the sanding.
The sanding,
process with me. I will take some out with this just to get the feel. And obviously if I'm custom making this for someone, they can set the thickness of the handle, so they can give you measurements or shape or whatever they like, basically, and say this is what I like and this is what I want. But again, stock bats will be a set sort of thickness for me. Which isn't far off that really, but that will now give me some idea of how that picks up. So obviously you can imagine at the minute that's still
quite heavy.
Quite bottom heavy, quite a lot to come out still. Through the shoulders as well. It's getting to the stage where the shape's almost sort of
you got that tiny bit of bottom heaviness now. So,
but there's quite a lot. I don't do a lot of work, as I said, with the draw knife on the toe because it's quite a delicate area. Yeah.
You want to make sure that you're not taking it too much.
Yeah, you know, I'll take the bulk out of there, and then for me that's quite a sort of a small area to be working in, so I prefer to get the travisher in there or one of the round bottom planes and start taking it out with that rather than trying to do it with the draw knife.
Of course.
Just personal preference, really.
Yeah. Alright.
So now to
Travisher.
see how that balance can be affected with it. Work down and then gently work from the edges in. And work across.
Like brushing across essentially, almost. Yeah.
Now see there's more flattening of the toe on that side. Where I've been starting to take a little bit more shape.
Of course.
Than the other side.
Yeah. You can almost see yeah, it kind of accentuates it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That little bit of concaving.
Yeah. I just like to see it through that because it gives that definition of the sort of
sweep, well. Yeah, and it kind of makes the spine look a bit bigger.
Yeah. I mean that's what duckbill for me does really well. That it will
accentuate the areas that people want to see.
Yeah. There is that. For me, just personally, this is the shape that I use. I mean, most people will tell you I'm by no means a big hitter or much of a batsman, but I tend to like that sort of low swell. And like to feel that I've got sort of a lot there. I mean, I'm still going to swoop that down, but that's the starting of where the duckbill is really.
Yeah. Oh well.
So it flattens out quite a lot, but that will come in a little bit more as well. It won't quite look as low as that.
Yeah.
I'll also edge the toe as well, and they'll be rounded, which again affects how the bat looks as well, really.
Yeah, some people like a square toe, don't they? They like the bat to look as wide as possible.
Yeah, again, I think it's just playing with the eye, really. What works on the eye. There's a lot of little, I suppose, tricks that you can do when you're shaping it, and it'll make certain elements of that look bigger or appear wider, which they say,
of course,
is part of what you'll get with a square toe.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people don't like them because of they feel that it causes weak spots and it'll get damaged. But I suppose it's that payoff, really.
Yeah.
Same we were saying before with my old 20-odd-year-old bat. You know, it was as thick as that in the shoulders.
Yeah. Good strength through it.
Yeah. And the face gave way on that one long before the handle or the shoulders
still intact. So
and you know the handle was thick. So, but these are the sort of sacrifices that people are making now to.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
The modern bats are very different to
bat making is
how they work.
Kind of all about compromise. You want something to be enhanced in the bat, then there's often always something that makes it counteract it. So if you want a really thick edge, then you're going to have to either concave or accept a bigger weight.
Yeah. And most, that's what most people are wanting, a scale weight of this and a size, They expect a certain edge size, a certain spine height.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I think for me, I'd take a slightly smaller edge with a fuller profile, but generally, people are wanting those bigger edges.
Yeah.
huge and it's roughed.
Yeah.
Roughed out with a little bit of concave. I mean, there's not much in there at all yet.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's steel too, yeah.
Still a lot more to come off this. So that's at 211 and a quarter.
Okay. So
a finished weight, you're talking 214.
214. And that's a big 214, to be fair. But you still got a fair bit to take out the handle.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest with you,
a little bit
the handle had a handle with a grip on it and it felt like this. I think the handle was, yeah, really good thickness. So
yeah.
You've got a lot of weight to take out.
Yeah, a lot more weight yet to come out of the shoulders are still really thick in between.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what you want to keep, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll keep most of that in, but there's still a little bit to come out of there. I mean, you know, it could take, there's still a lot more to come out of this section yet, and a bit more to come out of the toe and here.
It gives a bit of smoothing.
So,
yeah.
I think that'll get down to sort of 2.9 and finish at about 211.5, 212.
Yeah, and you'll have a solid.
But to me, that's still,
of that, yeah.
That feels decently balanced now. Feels pretty well balanced. You know, you could stick a grip on that and use it.
Yeah.
But you can I'll certainly get out feeling nicer than it does now, just with that bit more, a little bit more concaving. The spine can come down a little bit. Try and keep that through there. And as I say, that'll drop a little bit through here as well. Of course, start peeking off a little bit sooner, which then in turn you lose a little bit more out of here as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Interesting. There you go. Oops. This is some shoddy camera work. It's fine.
Getting a nice shape in there to it now. Bit more definition. So I'll start blending that down a little bit further as well. It's amazing how different that, because if that's the high point, it's always going to be the high point of the spine. But if I took a lot more out of there, it looks like that middle's a little bit higher.
Yes.
Whereas I try and keep it on this shape, quite a stubby sort of duckbill, if you like.
Yes.
So it brings, I think it brings the eye down and makes that look like it's a proper low middle back. Yeah. Rather than it being a
sort of mid.
Yeah, rather than looking more like a mid.
Yeah.
Which is the whole idea of this shape, is that is a low. Certainly by, I think, today's standards, quite a low.
Yeah, quite a low swell.
I'm trying to make the 3 stock shapes that I currently offer. I'm just trying to make it simple, because not everyone who plays cricket understands too much about the bats themselves. So
you have a low, mid, high?
Yeah, essentially. So there's the JS170, which obviously my initials, also my sister's initials. So,
alright.
And then the 170 is just the millimetres.
Yeah. And they're your other ones?
Toe, and then the other one's 190.
190.
I now go 175 on this, and then 195, and then 215 it was originally. I go probably another 5mm on the higher one.
Alright.
So, but yeah, it's just so that hopefully then people can go, well, you know, I kind of like a low middle, so rather than having to determine what that is, it should be fairly easy for them to tell. obviously we're buying more and more things online as well now. It's difficult sometimes to see from pictures,
Yeah.
depending on what camera angle it is, where that middle position is, and even on a side profile shot,
Yeah.
without some perspective in there,
Exactly.
sometimes it's really difficult to
Can't
see.
really tell unless you hit it square on. Yes. Yeah.
That's now at 210, just over 210. There's probably a little bit more to come out of here. We're not far off getting to that shape. There's a bit more concaving on one side, but there's not a huge amount in there. It's kind of a gentle concaving really, which is what I try and keep it to.
Yeah, you want to keep the guts in the playing area, don't you?
Need all the help you can get, mate.
Oh, I would take a JS1 to 550.
Well, that's kind of the funny thing, isn't it? For me, a low middle, whereas for some people, I mean, that's a low middle to them is more of a mid. For me, it's like always been low middle means, low middle. I think people also liken it to whether you're a front foot player or a back foot player or...
Yeah. I mean, plenty of back foot players use low middles as well.
Yeah, I know.
It does depend on, I guess, where you meet the ball, isn't it?
Yeah,
you'll get a generalisation of...
I'm not a huge subscriber to that theory, personally, because, like I said, you're middling the ball, you're middling the ball. So
yeah, of course.
I mean, for people who come in and not sure on what they want, I'll generally say, well, what do you like the look of as well?
Yeah.
Because if you're going out to bat with a bat that you don't like, you don't actually like the look of it or the shape of it, then
how are you going to have confidence in it?
Yeah, and the confidence and just how happy are you with that bat as well? You've got to be happy with what you're using. It's a bit of a mental game as well, isn't it? As we all know. So if you're going out there and thinking, I don't actually like this bat, gives you too many excuses. So getting around about there, I'll probably take a little bit more out of there so it looks a bit more sweeping.
A bit more sweeping, yep.
So there's a little bit there finessing to do through that, but
getting there.
Yeah, that's just about there. So 210.
210.
Sanding half an ounce to an ounce out with sanding, a bit out of the handle. Probably going to come in at 211, 212.
Yeah.
So yeah, all good.
Nice. Right.
See that?
Yeah. There you go.
Thanks, mate.
Rough shaping of a cricket bat. And yeah, here with Jonny at Scott Cricket Bats. And yeah, maybe we'll get down to the sanding stage at some point, but maybe not for tonight.